Today we will start one new topic, elimination reactions. Elimination reactions. Elimination reactions. Elimination reactions. Previous class we discussed substitution reactions. Substitution reactions we completed. There is a competition between elimination reactions and substitution reactions. In both the reactions, reactant is same, reagent is same, but the product obtained is different in each reactions. Only the difference is temperature is the difference. At low temperature, substitution reactions will take place. At high temperature, elimination reactions will take place. This is only the difference between elimination reactions and the substitution reactions. We already discussed the substitution reactions. Today we will discuss about the elimination reactions. Generally, alkyl halides and alcohols will undergo elimination reactions. Alkyl halides and alcohols will undergo elimination reactions. Let's see one example. First we will take the alkyl halide. Alkyl halide X stands for halogen chlorobromoiodine. In presence of the reagent, what is happening here? Elimination will take place. C double bond C. So these two groups will be eliminated. HX. Second example, D in case of alcohols, we will take R group. Alcohols. HOH in presence of the reagent. We will get the alkene. The product obtained is HOH. Okay, here also we will write O dash, O single bond H. See both the reaction. The first reaction we can call it as dehydrohalogenation. The second reaction we can call it as a dehydration reaction. Why? Because water molecule will be eliminated from alcohols in presence of the reagent. Some important points in elimination reactions are, observe carefully what is happening here. So HX will be eliminated here. So here two bonds are breaking, CH bond and CX bond. Two sigma bonds are breaking and one pi and one sigma bond is formed. Here also water molecule is eliminated. So CH bond and CO bond will be eliminated, break, and one CC, C to C carbon double bond and H2O single bond, new bond will be formed. So this is the new bond, CC, C pi bond is the new bond, H2 oxygen is the new bond. Here also one pi bond is the new bond, hydrogen to halogen is the new bond. So overall, saturated compounds converted into unsaturated compounds. Conclusion: saturated compounds are getting converted into unsaturated compound. And also what is happening here? Two sigma bonds are breaking, CH bond and CX bond in case of alkyl halide, CH and CO bond in case of alcohols. Two sigma bonds are breaking and one sigma and one pi bond is forming. So where is pi bond? Carbon to carbon. Pi bond, carbon to carbon. One pi, one new bond is hydrogen to halogen in case of alkyl halide, hydrogen to oxygen in case of alcohols. Okay, see one point you remember here. This is saturated compounds, unsaturated compounds. Generally, saturated compounds are stable compounds. Alkanes are more stable than the alkenes, and alkenes are more stable than the alkynes. Least is alkynes. So middle is alkene. The most stable is alkane. So less stable when compared to alkane, these are the less stable. Now coming to the point, stability is inversely proportional to energy. Since it is more stable, the energy is less energy. The energy of this saturated alkyl halide or saturated alcohols is less energy. Okay, less energetic compounds. Whereas here, so alkenes are more energetic compounds. Okay, here it is more energetic compound. So more energetic compound, more energy. Less stable saturated compounds getting converted into more stable saturated compounds getting converted into less stable unsaturated compounds in elimination reaction, or less energy saturated compounds convert into more energetic unsaturated compounds are taking place in elimination reaction. So overall, less energy compound giving more energy compound. So where is the extra energy is coming? What is the source for the extra energy? So that extra energy we need to supply to the reaction mixture in the form of a heat. Okay, that's why high temperature is required. Why high temperature is required means here less energy compounds are converted into more energy compound. So that extra energy we need to supply in the form of a heat, otherwise reaction will not go. Okay, if you supply the heat, then only less energy is getting converted into more energetic compound, and more stable is getting converted into less stable compound. That's why since more stable is getting converted to less stable, we are giving heat. Suppose for the reverse reaction, we no need to give heat. Why? Because see, these are less stable, more stable. Reverse reaction is very easy. No need to give heat or energy. Whereas forward reaction is difficult. Why? Because more stable compounds convert into less stable compounds, or less energetic compounds convert into more energetic compounds. We need to supply the heat. We need to supply the energy in the form of a heat. That's why heat is required. Okay, so that's why this is, since heat you are supplying heat, this is endothermic reaction. This is endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. Delta H is always positive. Delta H is positive, greater than 0, since endothermic reaction. Okay, we need to supply the heat energy. Why? Because less stable is getting converted into more stable is getting converted into less stable. More stable alkanes convert into less stable alkenes, or less energetic compounds convert into more energetic compound. So spontaneous only at high temperature. These reactions are spontaneous only at high temperature. Only at a high temperature. Okay. If temperature increases, then only elimination will take place. Otherwise, substitution reaction will take place. Why? Because the reagent is same, substrate is same. Okay. If you give temperature, then only elimination will be taking place. And also, if you see the groups that are eliminated, HX or H2O, those are adjacent positions. Okay. Alpha, beta. Okay. One is at alpha and other is at beta. Alpha, beta. Okay. Always in elimination reaction, alpha beta elimination will take place here. Alpha beta elimination is taking place in these reactions. So there is a possibility for alpha gamma, alpha delta also, but in now our reaction we are discussing about alpha beta elimination reactions. Now next, types of elimination reactions. Types of elimination reaction. There are three types of elimination reactions: E1 reactions, E2 reactions, E1CB reactions. Three types of elimination reactions. Three types of elimination reaction: E1 reactions, E2 reactions, E1CB, elimination via conjugate base reaction. E1 means unimolecular elimination reaction. Unimolecular elimination reaction. E2 means bimolecular elimination reaction. Bimolecular elimination reaction. E1CB means elimination via conjugate base. Elimination reaction by using conjugate base. Conjugate base. Conjugate base. So in substitution reaction also we discussed the 4 types of substitution reaction: SN1, SN2, SNI, and aromatic nucleophilic substitution reaction. Similarly, in elimination reactions also 3 types: E1, E2, and E1CB. Let's see what are the differences between these 3 reactions. Briefly, E1 reaction. For example, now we will take alkyl halide in all the 3 cases. You can take either alkyl halide or alcohol. So what is happening in E1 is, so E1 reaction, 2 steps reaction. In the first step, X minus will go out. So the CX bond will cleave. So resulted carbocation is formed. Resulted in the formation of a carbocation. In the first step, X minus will be eliminated out. CX bond will cleave. Later step, the second step, so this H plus will be removed. H plus will be removed in the second step. So after that we will get the alkene, unsaturated compound will get. Okay. In E1 reaction, it is a 2 steps reaction. First step, CX bond will cleave. That means X minus will go out. In the second, so after that carbocation is formed as an intermediate. In the second step, CX bond will cleave, H plus will be eliminated out. Whereas in E2 reaction, it's a single step reaction. In E2 reaction, see, now we will take only alkyl halide here also, CH and CX. What is happening in E2 is, in first step itself, CX bond will cleave and CH bond will cleave. Okay. So both X minus will be eliminated out and H plus will be eliminated. Both eliminations will take place at a time. Both CX bond will cleave and simultaneously CH bond also will cleave to give C double bond C. The product obtained is same but the way is different. Okay, it's a 2 steps process, single step process. In E1 reaction, first CX bond will cleave. So we will get carbocation by leaving X minus group as a leaving group. After that H plus will be eliminated. In the second E2 reaction, it's a single step. CX bond and CH bonds will be cleaved at a time. So X minus leaving group will be eliminated and H plus also will be eliminated in one step. In E1CB, elimination via conjugate base reaction, we'll take the same alkyl halide for better understanding. Same alkyl halide, C, hydrogen and X. It is a 2 steps reaction. Here, first H plus will be, CH bond will cleave. H plus will be eliminated out first. CH bond will cleave, H plus will be eliminated out. So to give carbanion will be formed. Carbanion will be formed. Whereas in the E1, carbocation is formed in E1 reaction. Carbocation is formed in E1 reaction. Whereas here carbanion is formed in E2 reaction. In E1CB reaction, E2 reaction, no intermediate. After that, in the second step, CX bond will cleave. So X minus will be eliminated out in the second step. So finally we will get alkene. In all the cases, the side product is HX. Side product is HX in all the cases. Plus HX. Okay. See the difference between E1, E2 and E1CB. In E1, 2 steps process, carbocation is found. First CX bond will cleave. After that CH bond will cleave. Okay. In E2, both CX bond and CH bond will cleave at a time. So X minus will be eliminated and H plus will be removed at a time. Whereas in elimination via conjugate base first abstract a proton. So CH bond will cleave. So after that H plus will be eliminated. So base subtract a proton. So that's why H plus will be eliminated. So resulted carbanion. In the second step, X minus will be eliminated to give alkene. So these are the types of elimination reactions. Next, so we'll start E1 reaction. Okay, take a subheading E1 reaction, unimolecular elimination reactions. E1 reaction, unimolecular elimination reaction. Unimolecular elimination reaction. Unimolecular elimination reaction E1. unimolecular elimination reaction E1. E1. We see one example. We'll take tertiary alkyl halide X. First we will discuss the examples with alkyl halide, after that alcohols. So what are the solvents used, what are the bases used, we will discuss in the factors affecting elimination reaction. Water is a solvent as well as a weak base here, and the temperature required is 100 degrees centigrade. Otherwise, if you are not using temperature, suppose if you run the reaction at room temperature, substitution will take place, elimination will not take place. The product obtained is CH3, CH3, and a double bond CH2 will be obtained. Okay. HX will be eliminated. Okay. So HX will be eliminated out. HX will be eliminated out. Now see, this is a substrate. Substrate is tertiary butyl alkyl halide. Water is acting as a weak base here. Solvent as well as a weak base. So we need to use weak base only. Strong bases will not use in even reactions. So what will happen if you use strong base? I will explain the factors affecting even reaction. From the experimental data, so there are two graphs. Okay, from the experimental data, there is a graph plotted between rate of reaction taken in y-axis and concentration of the substrate taken on x-axis. Concentration of the substrate taken on x-axis, a graph is plotted. From the graph and from the experimental data, it is clear that if you increase the concentration of the substrate, rate will increase. If you increase the concentration of the substrate, rate increase. If you increase the concentration, rate will increase. Okay, the graph is like this. The meaning of this graph is, if you increase the concentration of the substrate, rate of reaction will increase. Okay, if you increase the concentration of the substrate, rate of the reaction will increase. From the experimental data, another graph was plotted between rate of reaction was taken on y-axis, and the concentration of weak base. Concentration of the weak base, since we are discussing about this reaction, concentration of the weak base, that was taken on x-axis. From the data, from the experimental data, the graph is like this. If you increase the concentration of the weak base, rate will not increase. Rate is constant. Okay, rate is constant throughout the graph. Even though if you increase the concentration of the weak base, rate is not effective. From these two graphs, the conclusion is rate of a reaction depending on the concentration of the substrate, and rate is not depending on the concentration of the weak base. Rate is directly proportional to concentration of the substrate. So this is the experimental data that we got. Okay, experimental data, rate of a reaction is directly proportional to concentration of the substrate. Why? Because rate is depending on the concentration of the substrate, not on the concentration of the weak base. So only one molecule is involved in the rate equation. That means this is a first order reaction. Since one molecule involved in the rate equation, it's a first order reaction. So since it is a first order reaction, we can call it as a unimolecular. Unimolecular. Why unimolecular? Why unimolecular means in the rate equation only one molecule is involved, and it is an elimination reaction. We can call it as a elimination. Unimolecular elimination reaction. So why it is unimolecular elimination reaction means in the rate equation, rate is directly proportional to the concentration of the substrate only. That's why it is a unimolecular elimination reaction. Now see the mechanism of this reaction. Mechanism of this reaction. Let's see what is the starting material. Tertiary butyl alkyl halide. Tertiary butyl alkyl halide we have taken. The first step, in presence of the weak base, the first step, okay, we will write. In the first step, what is happening means, CX bond will cleave. CX bond will cleave, will give carbocation is formed in the first step itself. C plus and X minus will be formed in the first step. The first step is the slow step. Slow step means the rate determining step. In the first step, there is no role of a weak base in the first step. Okay, so even the solvent is there, but there is no role. Okay, solvent is not playing any role in the cleavage of CX bond. Whereas in the second step, the role of solvent or weak base will come into the picture. The role of weak base is used only in the second step. In the second step, that weak base abstract a proton. That weak base abstract a proton to give alkene. Isobutene is formed here. So, here temperature is required. Okay, here temperature is required. For the abstraction of a proton, from here we need to raise the temperature. 100 degrees centigrade is required. So, the role of base is in the second step. That's why in the rate equation, so the rate of reaction is not depending on the concentration of the water. Why? Because the role of weak base is used in the second step, not in the first step. First step is the rate determining step, that is the slow step. So, there is no role of a weak base. That's why in the rate equation only one molecule is involved, that is substrate, and that's why rate is directly proportional to the concentration of the substrate. Since a carbocation is formed as an intermediate in E1 reaction, so whenever there is a possibility, rearrangement will take place, and it is a two-step process. First carbocation is formed, after that a base subtract a proton at a beta position. This is alpha position. So, beta, always base subtract a proton at beta position. Suppose if two beta positions are there, depending on the product stability, it will abstract a proton. So, we will discuss the different type of examples in the examples. Now, next, factors affecting E1 reactions. Factors affecting unimolecular elimination reaction. Unimolecular elimination reaction. So, what are the factors? Which temperature? What is the substrate? Elimination reaction. Elimination reaction. Okay, very important. E1 reaction. First point is, rate is directly proportional to concentration of the substrate only. Rate is directly proportional to concentration of the substrate only, and there is no role of weak base in the rate equation. The role of base is in the second step, and it is a two-step process. It is a two-step process. Two-step process, E1. Okay, we will call it E1. It is a two-step process. Two-step process. First order kinetics. And the intermediate formed in E1 reaction is a carbocation intermediate is formed. Carbocation intermediate is formed in E1 reaction. Since carbocation intermediate is formed in E1 reaction, so whenever there is a carbocation is formed, so if there is a possibility, it will undergo rearrangement. So always rearrangement is possible. If there is a chance, rearrangement is possible. Okay, if there is a chance, rearrangement is possible in E1 reaction. Why? Because the intermediate obtained is the carbocation intermediate is formed in the first step. Okay, first step is the rate determining step. First step is the rate determining step, and slow steps, only one molecule is involved in the first step. Coming to the substrate, which substrates will undergo E1 reaction? So, as we discussed, alkyl halides and alcohols will undergo E1 elimination reaction. Coming to E1, so since carbocation is formed as an intermediate, either alkyl halide or alcohols, generally so tertiary alkyl halides or tertiary alcohols will readily undergo even reaction. Why? Because tertiary alkyl halides, the first step, tertiary carbocation is formed, that is more stable. So since carbocation step is formed, so generally tertiary alkyl halides or tertiary alcohols will readily undergo in elimination reaction than secondary than primary. So primary alkyl halides or primary alcohols will less, it will take some long time. Okay, this will readily undergo moderate, weak. Okay, lot of time to undergo elimination reaction, weak. Coming to the solvent. Coming to the solvent. So polar protic solvents required. Polar protic solvents required. So why polar protic solvents means? First see polar. The solvents which are polar, so polar protic solvents, the examples are water, methanol and ethanol, CH3, CH2OH. These are the polar protic generally used solvents in even elimination reaction. Why polar solvent? Generally polar solvents is having high dielectric constant. High dielectric constant. The meaning of high dielectric constant means it will decrease the force of attraction between the two groups. You can see here what is happening. We will write the brief mechanism. Okay, so first CX bond. So in the first step is the slow step. Okay, that is the rate determining step. So here what is happening? So carbon halogen bond will cleave. So the solvent, since we are using polar solvent, those polar solvents generally having high dielectric constant. So once the solvent is having high dielectric constant, it will decrease the force of attraction between carbon and the halogen. As a result, this bond will readily cleave. Okay, partial charges will develop here. Why? Because so there is a decrease in the force of attraction between these two atoms because of the high dielectric constant of the solvent. Then this bond will readily cleave to give carbocation and X minus. Okay, so these polar solvents, those are having high dielectric constant. The dielectric constant will decrease the force of attraction between these two atoms. As a result, this bond will readily cleave, develops a positive charges. Okay, after that carbocation. So here initially partial charges, after that the completely positive charge, carbocation is formed. Okay, dielectric constant, those solvents which are having high dielectric constant, it will decrease the force of attraction between the two atoms. So there is a possibility to break that bond. Okay, in case of non-polar solvents, that is not possible to break. Why? Because so dielectric constant is not there for the non-polar solvents. Now coming to the protic, why protic solvent? The meaning of protic solvent here is, you can see here why protic solvent means. So X minus is formed in the first step. So if you see, so as X minus is again a nucleophile. So X minus is there, carbocation is there. This X minus will attack on carbocation to give it back to the starting material. But that is not happening. So it is not happening and it is going to the next step. So in the second step it is going. It's not going to the first step. It is forward reaction is taking place, backward reaction is not taking place. The reason why means, so what once X minus is formed in the reaction, that gets surrounded with this protic solvent. That gets surrounded with the protic solvent. This protic solvent is surrounded by this X minus. Okay, so this protic solvent will not allow the X minus to attack on carbocation to get back the reaction, backward reaction. Once X minus is formed, this protic solvent surrounded the X minus. After that, it won't allow the X minus to attack on the carbocation. Okay, so why polar protic solvents means, polar solvents generally having high dielectric constant, so that will decrease the force of attraction between carbon and halogen. As a result, this bond will readily cleave. As a result, carbocation is formed. That is because of the high dielectric constant of the polar solvent. And why protic solvent means, once X minus is formed, that will not attack on carbocation, that is surrounded with the protic solvent. This protic solvent will help to not to attack on carbocation to get back the reaction backward direction. So that's why always polar protic solvent should be used in even reaction. Coming to the base, so always we need to use weak base. So generally the weak bases are again water, methanol and ethanol. Okay, these are the weak base and polar protic solvent. Okay, why weak base? Why not strong base is used in this even reaction? Now again see what is happening in this reaction again. So we will get a C double bond C here. So here in case of first step is so RX bond will cleave, right? That is happening. Okay, in the even reaction. If you use strong base here, strong base will not allow to break this RX bond. Instead, it will directly abstract a proton from here. Strong base will not wait to break CX bond. Instead, it will directly abstract a proton here. Directly, you will get the alkene instead of forming a carbocation. So that will facilitate, E2 reaction mechanism will take place. That's why, so we should not use strong base in case of even. If you use strong base, you will directly get the alkene. The mechanism, product is same, but the mechanism is not even. Strong base will not wait to break CX bond. Instead, it will directly abstract a proton here and then directly form a alkene without the formation of the carbocation. So to proceed the reaction at even means we should use a weak base. The next, temperature. Always we need to use high temperature. Always we need to use high temperature. High temperature is compulsory required. So what will happen if you use low temperature? In case of low temperature, substitution will take place. Okay, always substitution is the competition here. If you use low temperature, definitely substitution reaction will take place. Elimination will not take place. That's why we have to use high temperature for elimination reaction. And it is a endothermic reaction. So this is always elimination reactions are endothermic reaction. We need to give the heat to the reaction mixture. Always endothermic reaction and delta H, change in heat is positive. Delta H is greater than 0. These are the factors affecting elimination, unimolecular elimination reaction. So this is about unimolecular elimination reactions introduction. So in the next class, we will discuss the problems that are related to the unimolecular elimination reactions. There we discuss alkyl halides, the problems in which elimination that are taking place from alkyl halides and elimination that are taking place from alcohol. So this is about today's class. Follow the class, read well, all the very best. Thank you.